Welcome, champions, to a look into the future of Idle Champions. Codename Entertainment has released a 2024 State of the Game, where they go over the future plans for the game on the horizon of their 7th year. And there are certainly some changes coming. But are they good or bad changes? Well, sit down, grab yourself a drink, maybe a snack, and let's take a look together, shall we? Right out of the gate, seasons are gone. Poof. They're putting a hiatus on the production of seasonal events. The intent here is for them to focus on core system updates and dispersing what seasonal mechanics have been introducing to the game in other ways, incorporating them into the base game. Let me explain. The first of the core system updates is collections and guide quests. By their own words, the focus here is twofold. 1. To help players more effectively track their progress within Idle Champions, and 2. To guide players, especially new or returning players, through the vast and ever-growing content of Idle Champions. To do this, they plan to start with the Collections tab of the menu, where it currently only tracks champions and gear. This will become a menu where you can track anything from familiars, skins, campaign progress, patrons, and much more. There will be progress bars to show your overall completion, filtering to make it easy to search your collections, and requirements to unlock major features like trials, campaigns, and patrons. This will for sure be a decent addition for, like they said, new or returning players alike, to see future goals or content one might not be familiar with. But this doesn't do anything for those who already know that information, but still a worthwhile change. The first of these seasonal additions they are incorporating into the main game is quests, via guide quests. These quests will be for the game as a whole, and they will be completable at any time, so no worry about FOMO. These will range from beginner level difficulty tasks, to get newcomers into the game and understand what needs to be done, to next overall push their account's progress, to endgame difficulty, ranging in rewards from corrupted gems, gold chests of various types, and scales of Tiamat, and potentially more in the future. And worry not for those looking to push as many quests as possible. There will be a collect all button included to gather all of the rewards you've stocked up once you get going. And of course, as more content is added to the game, more of these quests will be added as well. I also think this will be a decent addition. Though I know there are some out there who aren't a fan of having tasks to complete, I think them being a part of the base game and having it tasks you would likely otherwise be completing anyway is a great way to serve as a guide for newcomers while actively rewarding existing players. But of course, only time will tell once we actually see these quests incorporated into the game. Now the next big implementation is how they are shaking up normal events, which they are referring to as Events 2.0. For those who don't know, events are the main way to unlock new champions when they are released with access to the last 2 previously released champions tied to the same event. Like the current event running, Grand Revel, with Presto, Brother Uriah, and Vi. They run for 2 weeks and allow you to unlock and farm chests for the relevant champions. Well, they're looking to shake that up. Their goals for Events 2.0 are threefold as follows. 1. Give players more choice over which champions appear in events. 2. Increase the depth of events with additional goals and rewards. 3. Give more opportunities to update champions outside of seasons. Before I dive into the exact details, once they add this to the game, you can think of events more as a mini-season. They included a stupid-proof chart for what to expect before and after, so let's take a look at that. Whereas before, there were only 3 champions tied to an event, again currently like Presto, Brother Uriah, and Vi, there will now be up to 5. 2 featured champions, who will be set, and 3 flex slots, where you will be able to choose the champion you want tied to the event in those flex slots. The options will be all of the champions who have ever been tied to that event, even retired champions. So for example, with Grand Revel, we'd be able to choose even the retired champions Birdsong and Human. Now, these 2 champions can vary between either new champions or reworked champions. Most commonly, we will see 1 new champion and 1 reworked champion, but it could also be 2 brand new champions or even 2 reworked champions. The amount of variants and gold chests earned from them before were 3 per champion, capping out at area 175. But you will now be able to unlock harder versions of those variants as you progress, earning up to 12 guaranteed gold chests from variants, with the max area of 175 increasing as you go, scaling based on your progression. You will also be able to earn unique rewards for the new/reworked champions and buffs for all champions lasting for the event and for a little while after, likely the whole month, in a way similar to how seasonal buffs work. And while generally we got 1 event every 3 weeks, depending on scheduling, there will always be 1 event on the first Wednesday of every month. And instead of lasting 2 weeks, they will now last 3 weeks, in order to make up for the more content to farm during an event, with the free time gate and other content releases falling on the 4th week of the month between events. Now, with there only being 1 event per month instead of roughly every 3 weeks, that means less events overall throughout the year, which is in part why there are more champions to work with during an event and 2 new or reworked champions per event. Overall, on the surface, these sound like decent changes. Keeping an overall flow to the game in a structured way sounds like a good thing, and it may very well be. But I have 2 main concerns personally that I'd like to address: monetization and stagnation. First, monetization. I've always been a defender of seasons and the option of the season pass. Even though it's gone up and down in the overall value of what it offers to the players, it's remained one of the best ways of paying into the game for what you get in return at that price point. Seasons were a good way to offer the players an overarching theme with fresh reworks and plenty of goodies to get, with even more goodies, in my opinion, at a fair cost, in a game where a lot of the costs feel largely unjustified. It kept a decent flow of income for them while giving a decent amount of content to us. I'm not opposing putting seasons on hold while they work on new content for the core game mechanics at all, while hopefully also working on some of the known kinks, but what I do worry about is them starting to put that monetization into Events 2.0 to make up for the loss of seasons. I'm not against them making money, but I don't feel events are the place to do that, which I've been working without it for 6 years. Now, if they don't monetize events like that, and all players have equal access to the content of an event, then I have no critique on that at all. Now, stagnation. This is another one that can go either way. We'll only know once we get Events 2.0 in action. What I mean by this is that new champions consistently releasing has been one of the core aspects to this game. This idea that an event might not release a new champion and instead feature 2 reworks of existing champions, it's a bit strange to me, especially now that we'll have less events. That could set up for a scenario where we get multiple events in a row with 0 new champions and only minor reworks to existing champions. Like a bit what we saw with the current Season 7. That would just feel less impactful and bland. Again, both of these concerns may be proven non-issues, and I hope that's the case. If we have full access to Events 2.0 and we have a steady flow of new champions and/or interesting reworks, no complaints here. And in fact, I think it would be an overall net positive to the game structure, but we'll see. As for when to expect these changes to become cemented into the game, you can look forward to the Collections and Guide quests going live on Wednesday, February 28th, and Events 2.0 to be live on Wednesday, March 6th. Thanks for dropping in and checking on the future changes here with me. Hit that like, sub, and bell, leave a comment on what you think about these changes, and always remember, more importantly than anything else, have a hell of a time out there, champion.